Gourmet number 6. Eat it or leave it.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and excellently woven tale of Toriko. Our last chapter, of course, saw us with Toriko and Komatsu having come upon the, getting close to the rainbow fruit tree or plant or what have you, and really just kind of finding the whole nest of the troll kongs and just seeing a double-page spread of them just kind of everywhere. and kind of feeling like, oh boy, this is not going to be easy. Because again, these things are these four-armed, giant, crazed apes that, I mean, literally are probably 20 feet tall, and capture level 9 for each one of them. So, definitely a daunting task, or so it would seem. So in the last chapter as well, we were introduced to, just kind of Toriko's knocking gun and how he pretty much, it seems like he has a belief in not killing animals unless he needs to, unless there is an actual purpose for it. So, we dive right into the chapter and we pick up where we left off, and certainly, he's thinking, oh man, this is not good. It's a daunting task in front of me. But what he does also go and mention is that because the lowest ranking ape that he took out with the knocking gun, when he hit it with the knocking gun in the last chapter, puked on him, he smells like that ape. And that's the lowest ranking one. So he goes, I can't intimidate them when I smell like a pussy, basically, is what he's saying. I smell like this weakling, because that's so my intimidation factor isn't going to work. The whole thing where he just like, it appears like he's just kind of is becoming 10 times his size, and it's just kind of, and I think what they're trying to do is it's like the aura that he gives off, his battle aura. So anyway, he tells Komatsu, he says, hold on to me real tight here. He goes, and just don't let go, because if you let go for a second, you're dead. You gotta be able to stay with me here. So these things start coming at him, a couple at a time, 2 and 3 at a time, and he's jumping and he's dodging and he's moving around. And what I like about Toriko is that he's this cool, established badass already with all this like pool of memories to go back from all these great things that he's done before. Because he's talking to himself about how he can't move at full speed, because if he moves at normal speed, Komatsu would be shaken off, like nothing. And he goes back to when he had to go in and steal this or get this silk egg, and he had to be so careful that it didn't get broken, and they show this little quick flashback in a panel or two. So I just kind of like it how he's already got like this pool of like adventures to go and come back on and talk about, as far as from, flashbacks and memories and whatnot. He's not this weakling that has to become known in the world. So I think it's a very cool thing. But, so he winds up, he's jumping, he's moving, he's dodging, right? And then he goes and he winds up going and jacking a couple of them up with the stun gun that he's got, the knocking gun or whatever. And he's like, and he's getting them, and they're dropping. And then he's going and he's popping out and reloading the cartridge, and you feel like it's something, something crazy out of the Wild West, man, where he's like, fingers can't get the bullets in the chambers quick enough. And Komatsu is like still bitching about it. He's like, why are you knocking them out? They're just going to come back after us. And this is where Toriko goes in and explains. He goes, listen, my thing is, my philosophy, or what I live by, the code that I live by, is that I don't kill it unless I'm going to eat it, okay? First of all, troll kong meat is stringy and doesn't taste good, so I'm not going to be eating it. And they don't pose a danger to me as far as something that I have to kill and then because I'm going to eat. So if even though they're dangerous, I'm going to knock them out if I can. So that's just it's the mantra that he goes by, is that if you're going to kill it, you are going to eat it, and that's how he looks at things. So it's kind of a cool thing to see, and a couple chapters ago too, Johannes had mentioned something about, him being one of the 4 kings, and he wishes the other ones were like him too, and he goes, oh, you can't turn iron ore into gold. So apparently he's from some kind of strength-ridden royalty type family. I don't know. He's exalted as one of these high 4 kings, and the other 3 apparently are degenerates or something like that, so that they're not living up to their expectations. But anyway, back to the present here. So he's dodging, he's reloading, he's thinking in his mind, he's like, I gotta find the leader, because if I take the leader down, they won't stop fighting me. And there's probably, 100 of them, right? Say there's 100, 200, whatever. He's not gonna take all of them down. And he's thinking in his mind, I don't have enough juice for the knocking gun, And he's dodging. And then he also goes and talks about how, normal apes go and they do the thing where they, they stand up and they go and they put their arms on the ground, and they call it like knuckle walking. They basically walk on their fists, He goes, the thing about these troll kongs, and that's, specific to just them, is that they can do that, but they can still attack you while they're walking around like that because they've got 4 arms. So really kind of a cool little twist, on what you would normally see as like this giant terrifying gorilla or ape or whatever, but now it has 2 extra arms to attack you with. So as he's dodging and he's moving and he's everything else, they wind up going and kind of seeing, and the thunder starts coming, right, and it starts drizzling, it starts raining, and Toriko's like, oh, this is great. Now I can get that puke smell off of me, and he can use kind of his intimidation factor, right? So as that starts happening, and then there's some rain that starts coming down, there winds up being a strike of lightning, and you wind up going and seeing this gorilla in the background that just kind of looks as if he's I don't know, he just looks like he's like older and wiser, I guess. I don't know. He just sort of looks like, the way he's drawn and everything, he looks to be like older and more like grayed or white haired, as opposed to these younger, terrifying looking ones. So Komatsu goes and catches that, with his eye real quick, and it's so funny because as he's dodging all these things, he's just knocking them out. He's just like, how many monkeys are in this barrel, And I got the reference obviously from the Barrel of Monkeys. So, but anyway, anybody who doesn't get it, I guess you can just Google it. So, but I don't know if that's still a legitimate thing. But I just, Barrel of Monkeys is something that I've heard forever, and mainly too because of the little game. But so he's dodging this and that, and the lightning's coming, and he's like, oh man, and he goes in and he asks. Or Komatsu, he was going, man, we got to find he's telling Komatsu basically, we have to find this boss of them, the leader. And we got to look for the one that, so when the lightning struck, we got to look for the one that, that strayed away or that ran first or whatever, And Komatsu goes and he says, oh, well, the one over back there or whatever, he moved first before the lightning even struck, right before it, And he says, but he wouldn't be the leader. Wouldn't the leader be the bravest one? And this is kind of funny because it parallels to real life and society, at least as far as I can see and tell and derive from. And he goes and he said, Toriko says, no, the leader isn't the strongest. The leader is just the smartest as far as being able to sense danger and avoid it, okay, and figuring out how to avoid it. So, and then it's funny because it says in like a little caption type thing, it's like, and that goes for the human world too. And that's the truth. Because a lot of the leaders, at least here in this country, okay, I mean, they look like you could wipe the floor with them in any type of confrontation. And, I don't think that many of them are very physically or even mentally tough. I think that they're just smart enough and conniving and just sort of, I don't know, they know when something is not going to go their way and they have a way out of it and everything else. So it definitely kind of parallels with real life, I think, and as far as like the leader not being the strongest, just being the smartest at avoiding danger, and that's what he gets at. So Komatsu goes and says, okay, well, that one in the back there, the silver one, blah, blah, blah. And then, you get Toriko's like, oh, the silverback, of course, and this and that. And then they go and they explain that the silverback is the leader of the pack, and they get their name because as they age, their hair obviously turns grayish silver, and that's where the silverback name comes from, and that's the leader, right? So, Toriko is able to jump through and kind of get up to him, and it's cool because as this is happening, they go and they show Toriko, and now that the stank is washed off of him from that low-level gorilla or ape that threw up on him, you can see how he has like this, it's him still, but like behind him, they make it look like he's this giant presence. And they even go and say about who Komatsu, feels like a little mouse riding on the back of this lion, this king of the jungle, right? But then they show Toriko and like his presence looks like this giant, huge battle cat type thing behind him. So really what it is it's that intimidation. It's that pheromone that he gives off that just intimidates others and makes them think that he is 10 times the size and they just don't want to mess with him, So it's kind of cool because they go and then in one fell swoop, they're just kind of like show a bunch of different, panels and everything of this giant silverback and whatnot. And then you go and you see him and his like tongue is hanging out and he's in front of Toriko. And you can assume that Toriko nailed him or whatever, right? And prior to that, one of the apes that was trying to grab his arm, he went to go and do the knife thing, and he could sense that there was danger and that he was going to get cut or killed or whatever, and he let go. But anyway, he didn't kill the silverback. At least it doesn't look like it. He winds up taking him out, I'm assuming, with the knocking gun. We don't see it in particular. We just wind up seeing the thing go and fall. And then it goes and it says, as it's kind of narrated, which is really neat. It says, okay, and the battle ended silently, So we can assume that obviously he did take out the silverback in one way, shape, or form. I'm assuming because of what he said earlier in the chapter that it was with the knocking gun, although it didn't show it. So I don't know if maybe he did, stab it, kill it. Maybe the thing got scared and had a heart attack. I don't know. But, and then it's kind of cool, though, because then at the end of the page we go and we kind of just see, and even though it's in black and white, you can just kind of like picture like the rainbow of light, the light of Jesus coming down on it. And you see like this tree, the rainbow fruit tree, and you just hear like, oh, as they show, and that's what you're thinking. You're like, oh, the rainbow fruit tree. We finally made it. So, so definitely a cool wrap up to a chapter. I certainly think it's kind of neat. And my chapter question is, what do you think of Toriko and kind of the law of the jungle type deal that he lives by? Most feral type animals and stuff. It's kind of like a kill or be killed type of mentality. Whereas his is very much like, I don't kill it unless I eat it. And I think that's actually kind of cool. So, especially because he has the power to kill just about anything. So, with great power comes great responsibility. And it seems like Toriko is pretty responsible. Anyway, my point being is that you should leave your answer, brothers and sisters, to that comment or that question in the comment section down below. And then again, the question is just, what do you think of Toriko's his kind of mantra that he lives by, as far as don't kill it unless you're going to eat it. So, and then of course feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you think that I deserve it, or if you like the series, or you like that I'm doing the series as far as a review, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation.
Oh, please subscribe. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters.
I did not pay for this.